Customer data platform for e-commerce. That's what we will cover in the next hour together with Glebs. We are scandiweb, working with CDP for, I think, now more than 8 years. So it felt like a good time to summarize our findings, stories, and share them with you. We will also touch upon specific platforms like PIMcore, Twilio Segment, Adobe Experience Cloud, CDP, and Marketing Cloud, Customer Cloud of Salesforce. But first, let's meet at certain baseline of CDP understanding, or what we figured out is that it is the easiest to meet with people, to align with people on not understanding CDP. Actually, we figured out that it's the best point to start is to agree that we don't understand CDP, and it's a very good baseline to start. That's the best start. So this slide just summarizes this paradox, that there are many popular e-commerce terms more or less hyped, like PWA, headless, customer experience management, CXM, PIM, PXM, and just conventional ones like CEO, PPC, MDM, master data management. Yet CDP got relatively lower exposure. Looking at more than 200 of our customers, very low adoption. Looking at the industry, the same. Yeah, and relative hype. We haven't yet met a hype cycle for CDP, just we met for some other three-letter abbreviations. And it is a paradox that on one hand, it is relatively not known. On the other, when we see how it is performing, it is the only application that can really put in the center your customers, the most valuable part of your business. You can work with products with PIM. You can work with customer experience. You can work with your front end in PWA and headless. You can target relevant customers in PPC and organic traffic. But what about the customer itself? What about the customer in its centricity, in its very embodied person? Where is the customer? You can tell the customer is kind of everywhere. When they make a purchase, you have an order, they sign up for newsletter, you see their email and maybe their name. They clicked on a banner, you see this information and can retarget them further. They visit your site. But I would say these are the traces of a customer. Yet the only platform to really capture your customer as a persona is CDP. And it is amazing that we have this paradox. So the guys who are actually doing CDP, they are way ahead than other guys who are not yet doing it. And talking with customers and hearing their stories, talking with marketing teams, with data teams, or with CDP evangelists, meeting at some CDP events, we just summarize 3 main reasons why CDP is hard. Why it's not that popular, despite being so awesome, that we will discover later in detail. First, it's really hard to explain the value of CDP in comparison to other systems. Because other systems, they're very, let's say, practical. Think about e-commerce platform. Okay, online cart. You want to sell online, you need e-commerce platform. Whatever, Salesforce, Adobe, open source, Magento, BigCommerce, Shopify, you need e-commerce. You want to manage your products better, content, marketing teams, sync to marketplace, you need product information management system, PIM system. Okay, you have European warehouse and B2B pricing, okay, you need ETL layer, you need middleware to remove all duplicate synchronized data and push it to front end for each customer, some specific pricing and so on. CDP is like, oh, you put your customer in the center and it doesn't really agree who exactly we put, where is the center, so it's not that palpable. Second, it's hard to envision the value. So with products, easy. Okay, you know what, we got 10,000, your catalog is 50K products, we can actually help to synchronize your supplier product list and catalogs, extract data, normalize it, and you push everything online. So very easy to showcase. For CDP, we will see the value accrues as you start using the system, but it's not that you implement it and immediately you see substantial result. It's not like with PIM. You did not have PIM, now you have it, you pretty much within a month of after adoption, you already, or after launch, you will say, oh wow, like things changed. With CDP, it will not be that easy. And implementation of CDP is extremely, it's much more multidisciplinary than other systems. So when you implement certain BigQuery or certain BI, you need data people and a bit developers to make sure the data layer is working. With CDP, you need a person who would figure out your customer model, a person who would figure out how to get data to enrich this customer profile, customer model, what channels we will push this data to activate it, what are the activation channels, how to connect to them, what campaigns we would assign to which segments. So there is quite deep marketing knowledge, content needs, data and analytics needs, and substantial development too, to make sure that your CDP is well integrated within your ecosystem. So customer is not just living there in CDP, but this CDP is really in the center of your ecosystem. So it's connected to all of its parties by certain API connectors. So not that easy to explain its value. The value is dynamic, so it accrues through time. It's not like before CDP and okay, you have it, you immediately see the results. Like with e-commerce platform, you couldn't sell online. Now you can. And it requires good implementation, requires really multidisciplinary approach from business, marketing, content, technology, omni-channel. So, I mean, your customers are everywhere, right? You want them to be everywhere. So you need to really touch all the aspects of your organization. And to conclude, a quick introduction, I would ask my colleague Glebs to read us.
I was preparing for it. Yeah. So what Wikipedia tells us, what is CDP? A customer data platform is a collection of a software which creates a persistent, unified customer database that is accessible to other systems. Data is pulled from multiple sources. It's cleaned and combined to create a single customer profile. This structured data is then made available to other marketing systems. That's what Wikipedia tells us.
Thank you, Glebs. It is an amazing definition of CDP when you know exactly what CDP is. When you worked with it, integrated it, iterated it, you say, oh, really nice. It captures almost all the essence. So good. But if you haven't dealt with CDP, this definition hardly moves a needle. It's hardly really, now I know what is CDP. I can go ahead and implement it. So let's spend the next, 45 minutes, an hour to actually go through 6 sections to be the guys who can tell, oh yeah, now we understand exactly what Wikipedia wanted us to know. And we will start with an animation. And I believe that this animation contains like 80% of the value of the presentation itself. So whatever you are doing, make sure that now you can focus for the next 5 minutes. So CDP stories, that's how we call this animation. And it starts with establishing a CDP for you, let's say, e-commerce website that deals with, let's say, sports fashion. And CDP is not only about customers you know in detail, it's also about customers like this, anonymous customers who first time about to enter your store. They did not touch it yet. They are somewhere there in the internet, possibly browsing or searching for marathon shoes in Google. And then, bam, they come to e-commerce website, they check shoes, maybe they add some to the wish list. Do they purchase? No. And a new participant, new actor on our board, data layer. Data layer is a system, is a framework that captures all this data and makes it available, pushes it further to customer CDP. So customer CDP now creates a new record. We don't know. It's anonymous. It's just some ID. And we know that this some ID is interested in shoes. It came from Google. And we know a search terms that this person was using, categories this person has checked, products person added to wish list. We don't know a lot of details on this person other than that. But you see green lines. And these are showing that CDP is already working. Even with this little of information, CDP can do something for your benefit. At least it can push to PPC and display channels for retargeting this customer profile and preferences, and then our display network activation channels will actually start showing relevant items, relevant to sports, nutrition, and say things that person has explored. We can go further. There are compliant third parties. We can send certain user data. If person accepted cookie, we can send this data and inquiry. Who is this person in general? Maybe not in particular, but in general, social demographic profile. Let's see what we get. It's gender is female, or has children, interested in sports, travel, and fashion. Okay, so our customer CDP profile now is updated. We still don't know email, name, address, anything, let's say, personal, but we know about certain preferences and demographics. So with this data that now lives within customer CDP platform, we again connect to our activation channels and update the profile to, let's say, to customize, to improve, to change our banners, our campaigns, our engagement messages. Okay, maybe something for kids, back to school. Does it work? Campaign in Instagram worked, and a person goes again to our site and now does a purchase. And when the purchase is completed, of course, we know who this person is. Meet Alice White. Data layer comes into play again and is pushing all of this information into customer CDP again to enrich previously anonymous profile with a personal data on a name, surname, address, email, phone number, and maybe an updated segments, because there are some products for kids. How good is this? Updated. And what we can do next, let's see if Alice has given us a consent for email marketing. So we can already connect yet to another system. Remember, we were talking that the power of CDP comes from its dynamic work, from its ability to connect to other systems. So we know now a lot about Alice, about her kids, about ages, about the product she bought. So we can schedule campaigns, say, to offer next size up, say, in 6 months, and send it to her in a good moment. So what else we can do? Let's see where Alice is traveling now. To blog. Yeah, blog is another web-based application, or can live in your app, doesn't matter, but it also has data layer and good customer CDPs that scandiweb is building and integrating. can actually help you to personalize real time. So whenever data layer tells, hey, Alice is here, that's how it happens. Almost in real time. Then CDP tells, okay, I know about Alice. Alice likes stuff about fashion, travel, sports, and okay, maybe we only have some sports campaigns, but then we can personalize our blog featured widget with some information that would be much more relevant for Alice than other things we have in blog. So let's see what we are displaying. Shoes again, some stuff for kids, sports for kids, orthopedic insoles. That was interesting. She clicked and we collected this click to customer CDP. And for each click, for each product that she is interested, that any of your customer is interested in customer CDP, you can set up a campaign, a promotional campaign that you can immediately push to display networks. So Instagram and other, whatever TikTok would show certain offers related to orthopedic insole. And you can do email and SMS campaign if you have something special for these insoles. And in this case, we had Alice received that, and she did sign up for let's say a fit test in-store fit test to get her personalized insole. So she comes to store, she does her tests, she buys insoles and few other pair of marathon shoes. She's very happy. Her knees will serve her very well. We update customer CDP with additional information of her purchase. We again sync it with our activation channels. For example, to set up a campaign that it's advised to change your shoes, especially if you're a runner, every 500 miles. And it will continue. We will keep enriching our profile, our understanding of each other with Alice, and will help her with relevant offers for her kids, for herself, for her fashion interest, for her travel interest, making pretty much every interaction better and better. And one thing I didn't draw your attention, maybe you have noticed, in the top right corner, there is a revenue we have received from Alice to date and her lifetime estimated value. So CDP really is the tool to increase your monetary metrics through really putting the customer at the center. Any questions about this? Glebs, if you see some questions, let me, okay, then you can voice over.
No questions yet, all good.
Good. Otherwise, we just like Alice run forward. And we touch the subject of what are 3 pillars of an efficient CDP and what is a CDP engine. Okay, very simple. Very simple. Closed captioning, who can see this transcript recording? Let's remove all the non-necessary things. We wanted to focus what we really believe are kind of 3 whales or 3 turtles or 3 pillars that CDP is built. If you understand this, you understand CDP pretty well. So first is listen, second is understand, third is act. What is listen in the context of CDP? It is having tools to collect, let's say, to have an ear, this in this case could be a data layer, ear that listens at what customer is doing, where customer is clicking, what campaigns customer is engaging with, what maybe link customer clicked in newsletter, not just open newsletter, but clicked on a particular product. You sent maybe 10, but clicked on a particular product. And of course, these 10 particular products already could be personalized, should be personalized for the customer, but customer clicked on a particular one and you collect this data. So this is actively listening. You are not really waiting when customer sends you something. You are fully engaged into collecting, into listening to every, let's say, hint of that customer may express in order to understand it. Anything that happens on your site or off your site is valuable in understanding people. So second is understanding. Understanding here is making sense of this information. Okay, you received clicks, you received opens, you received engagement data, you received some purchases. What does it mean? Does it mean that this customer is a whatever holiday shopper or just Black Friday shopper or just seasonal shopper? Every season this customer comes and goes with a big shopping cart. Let's segment data. Let's assign a customer to 1, 2, 3 or more segments. Let's assign some interest. Let's assign campaigns to this interest. Let's test how these campaigns work with this customer. So that's all understanding. And acting, that's what our definition. Okay, let's not maybe get back to it, but it means that once you understand, yeah, you need now you not only have a valuable data, you already have certain recipe how to act, and now you are acting in display channels, you're acting in newsletters, you are acting in real-time personalization in your e-commerce platform, in your blog, partner sites. So a lot of ways how you can activate the knowledge that you have collected and understood. These things, they come like in line. First you listen, then you understand, then you act. So we'll not get in deep on this, but what I will highlight here is that this sequence that we see here is happening, is recursive. So you never finish this sequence. It's not that, okay, we listened, we understood something, okay, and now there is an action, bam. Okay, you send to an activation channel a certain message, certain push through API. We do this, but then you still keep listening on other channels, and you still keep understanding your customer, and you still keep acting. Maybe you have sent, okay, let's do this campaign, but then you received you listened to some events that you think, oh, I think even better campaign now is relevant to this customer, and then you would actually send another campaign to your activation channel. So this cycle never sleeps. That's a huge value of CDP. Once you understood and set up these 3 pillars, it's like a magic of machine learning. It just gets better and better and better, and you do not do a lot about it. Once you have set it up, it just works. Recursive, infinite, iterative evolution. And on this slide, I think you can make a screenshot and can dive deeper, but it's just an example of, okay, we received something, we understood, we acted on it, then we still keep listening, understanding, improving our actions, we're listening again, we are understanding, we are acting again. Each act is better and better. CDP and its 3 pillars: listen, understand, and act. Its recursive nature and an example. Now we understand CDP within the ecosystem. So we looked into what CDP is in itself. Let's look at how it is playing within the e-commerce ecosystem field. An example similar to the animation we have seen. So there is a CDP and there are some external systems. Sources of traffic, maybe live chat, maybe app, maybe second, third-party data. And there are 2 ways of connection. So we are getting some data from live chat, and then whenever this customer comes again, we can immediately push some data from CDP into live chat. So okay, this customer has been coming for this, and they also bought that, and here are some more notes, and that may be how can you help them now? Because we see an order that is not yet shipped, so maybe they want to change something or add something, so you can be much more relevant. So it's a 2-way communication with all of these systems. So if we think about CDP and ecosystem, so the right way to think about is to place CDP in the center of the ecosystem and connect it with each party with a 2-directional traffic. Let's see why it matters. Yeah, here it's why it matters. We can actually take a look at, yeah. So on previous slide, the value is that you are interacting, you're listening to one channel, like the guy came looking for marathon shoes, but this information is immediately pushed to all other channels. So you don't need to wait when customer comes to a mobile app and starts searching for marathon shoes to fine-tune mobile app experience. You fine-tune it immediately when the person lands there, because you saw, okay, this person came for marathon shoes, landed on our blog, check few models, we know it's a marathon shoes person, so we assign to some segment. So whenever the person comes to mobile app, or well, for whatever reason to live chat, we know how to personalize experience. Every channel gets better through an interaction with one. So that's what we try to capture here. So we get input from one channel, and then we disperse it, we disseminate it to all connected channels. So the more channels are connected to CDP, the better. And Gleb just shout me up if there are some questions. Okay, so we understood what are three pillars of CDP, how CDP is expected to be placed within an ecosystem, but if we look a bit in a more granular way, what would we expect from a CDP core features? Let's discuss here 5, so you have a core understanding. So clearly, well, generally they fall into 2 broad segments, sources and destinations, because the value of CDP is its ability to receive data and to push data. So all of these are both sources and destinations. So data layers help a lot. So that's it's not a part of CDP. They live outside of CDP. They live on your blog, on your mobile app, on e-commerce platform, on your in-store kiosk, possibly too. They collect the data and send them to CDP. First component, API connector. Well, it's a technological module that you need to have, and again, it usually lies, let's say, in between of CDP and certain systems. So it's certain layer that enables data transport between CDP and, let's say, retargeting platform, or let's say CDP or email marketing automation platform. Sometimes they could be connected out of the box, sometimes not, but that's what you need to look into, API connectors. Activation channels, that's again, the more channels, the more components of your ecosystem you make activation channels, the better. Think, how can you make your in-store experience as an activation channel for a person? How can you identify a person when he or she walks in a store? As Glebs, he has a lot of experience in merging online with in-store shopping experience, figure-tail concepts, in-store checkout, in-store product discovery. So whenever it happens, we know, aha, this person is in store, and then it's up to your business creativity how you can leverage this information. Customer profile model, well, to be honest, that's the first thing you need. So that's all the kind of shelves for data that you believe is necessary to describe your customer, at least the core of it. And segment engine. Some segments are clearly are manual, you know them. Some segments can be, let's say, calculated. They can be suggested by certain BI tools or certain AI tools, certain statistical models that we can help to structure data to let's say, to discover, to portray some segments that might not be that evident. And then for each segment, we either make, okay, we assign them manually, or we make some calculated segments for our customers. And then there is certain engagement plan for each segment. How would we treat people belonging to this segment? What would be the best for them? And among other things, of course, when you treat people right, conversion rates are higher. And when you engage people right, or you engage right people in the right way, even your cost of bid for PPC is lower, because you start targeting not a very generic segment that everybody's going after, but you know, I don't need to go there. I rather go for this specific demographics interested in this. And then you find that there is much less competition there. And then once you are there, your conversion rates are higher. So your return on advertisement spend can show some unbelievable growth rates. CDP benefits. I would let you screen grab this slide or request a presentation later, or request an individual demo and consultation from our CDP experts. I think this is pretty obvious if we understood everything we were talking before. And that's my favorite slide. And I thought maybe now is Christmas. This is kind of Halloween stuff. What is scary now? What is a festive scare thing? What are with our holiday scares? If you have an ideas, write comments. But for me, it was an empty bag of Santa. So Santa with an empty sack is like, it's like so damn scary. So apparently, our presentation is not only about, how awesome are these cool features and the abbreviations that you need to embark on ahead of others, but there is something scary. There is something scary on the next slide. Are you ready? Gleb, people are staying with us, or you see some drop in participants? It's okay?
We have very stable.
Very stable crowd.
Flow.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you very much, guys. So that's a very scary slide. At least I felt very sad looking, making it. So imagine there is some business. No, let's not imagine your business. There's some business that doesn't have CDP. I would say majority of businesses, they do not have CDP in its pure efficient form. So what do they have instead? What do they have instead when they do not have CDP? It generally presents a situation when their partners have CDPs that they are not, of course, sharing with you as a business. So each of the third parties we are using so much nowadays: personalization, AI search, email automation, some kind of product feeds, marketing automation, BI. They store data on your customers, and they want to be efficient, so they mine more data. They do some statistics, analytics, segmentation, and they are becoming pretty good in their fare. I mean, you pay them, usually they want to keep your business, and they leverage CDP for their benefit. They leverage CDP for the benefit of their business to serve your business better. True. But the findings that they have within their CDP, they never share to you or your other third parties. Just think how different this image is from that image. Here, if you leverage some finding, you disperse it across, you do not keep it within live chat. You do not keep it within just retargeting or simply an e-commerce site or in a blog. You tell everybody about it, and everybody benefits. So it's like symbolically exponential value creation in CDP. Here, everybody is doing some CDP activity, but only for this narrow segment of your ecosystem. Everybody doing something with your customers, but not you. Oh, this slide is so scary. I always need to take a break after it. But you can make a screen grab, and it's very depressing to look through this, to go through these 5 things of suffered customer experience, all these data silos, and others capturing the data that you would benefit the most. And I will go and drink some water, refreshing after this scary slide. And I pass the mic and screen sharing rights to Glebs, and just waving you, not a goodbye. But,
just a second, Anton, just to be sure. Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm still.
Oh, yeah, all cool. I can share the screen.
Okay.
1 second, guys. You can see it, right? Anton, you can see it, right? Just
yeah,
to be sure.
CDP case studies by
super
scandiweb.
So yeah, now jumping to the practical thing. So how everything what Antons just shared, how it's being implemented by companies in real life. And we'll jump to the first case study for a company you all know most probably, which is Walmart. For everyone who has been in USA, or even for those who not, you know what Walmart is doing. Overall, the project that we're working for Walmart, it offers monthly sample boxes which filled with creative products from top brands and newest launches. And guess what? Walmart wasn't really earning from these subscription boxes. It was not their business model. They were earning from the data. From the data they were gathering on the customers who were subscribed to the program. So there were more than 2 million such customers, and they were sharing information about their interests, the preferences, what they prefer, what they do not like, what products they liked more, what less, etc., etc. And afterward, Walmart could use this data to optimize their product offering and overall to go to the manufacturers, to their suppliers to tell, oh, this is a popular product, this is not the popular product, we can put it on shelf. This one we shouldn't put on shelf. That's in essence was the project. And since Walmart is a huge organization, it required custom implementation. There were no ready-made CDPs back then, so the project actually was implemented in 2018. So it was fully custom implementation to support their specific needs and to support the scale, how they needed for it to work. So with such CDP was the only right option for them, for a platform to gather all this first-party data they were getting from the questionnaires they were getting for some surveys they were asking to fill in the customers, and then analyze it, push it further to the data warehouse anywhere else. So yeah, they didn't want to store it within their e-commerce platform or anywhere else. That's a case of a very complex and enterprise level grade CDP implementation. Let's look on the other side, AirSyncs. These guys are they're not really a startup. That's quite a decent hardware company who are basically making the devices to check the air quality. You can put them into your house, into your room, whatever, and you can feel confident. You can breathe properly and not having any negative things inside of you. So for them, they have chosen previous segment as a SaaS platform implementation for CDP, which was much easier to configure comparing to the Walmart case. So in their case, what they needed to do is to set up the data layer on the website and and start gathering all the metrics about data about the user behavior from their website, from the mobile applications they have, from some other sources. They start to gather this information, put it into that segment, and then there they configure the destinations, being their meta ads, their marketing platform, etc., etc. So that's a good case of quite fast SaaS-based implementation, where they were ready to get to the boxes of SaaS solution without needing of much customizations and overall complex use cases as Walmart required that. So these are 2 different use cases, and it may be unclear. So, okay, which way you need to go. Do we need to go custom way or we need to go a simpler way? So further, we have an option described on which actually can be right for your specific use case. In essence, we outlined 4 options for CDPs, 4 like the most popular ones, what you can really meet on the market. Let's go through each of them. Actually, there is 5, one hidden one, but that's a secret we'll showcase. Maybe if you can guess after really 4, what can be the 5th option? Like you can be the guru of CDPs. So the first ones are again more enterprise ones, but platform based. The first one is a Salesforce Marketing Cloud. They basically have the CDP within their platform itself. They want to lock in you within their ecosystem. So overall, for all the companies who are already running on a Salesforce cloud, for either your sales needs or marketing needs or for their commerce needs, it's definitely recommended to use a Salesforce CDP as well, since you'll get the most benefit out of it by staying within the same platform. Exactly the same case is on the Adobe. So Adobe has their offering, and for businesses who use Adobe Commerce or Adobe Experience Manager, Adobe Analytics, etc., they have built their own live real-time CDP, which can support very complex use cases for retail integration, for offline integration, and then activating that with Adobe campaigns, etc., etc. So in case your business is running already on Adobe stack, it's very logical to look into the Adobe CDP and stay within it without really looking at much other options. But if your company is not running on neither of them, so there are 2 more options, which is Twilio Segment, which is SaaS-based solution, which can be much faster to implement, but you may need to put yourself into the boxes of a SaaS-based solution, meaning it's much harder to customize and support some specific needs in case you have them. So Twilio Segment is a SaaS-based, as Shopify to compare with. So basically, Twilio Segment can compare as it's Shopify in terms of the CDPs. And if you're just stepping into the CDP and you don't need much customizations and you don't want to invest a lot into some enterprise solutions, it can be the right option for you. On the other side, there is a Pimcore, which is comparable within the e-commerce world to the Magento, where it's open source. And overall, if you right away envision, you may have some specific custom case, or you may need to require customizations or some extra integrations or overall some more complex data management processes, which are not supported in a segment, it's better to look into this option since overall it's free to run. It's open source. There is both open source and enterprise version. But yeah, Pimcore can be a good option. It's basically the same choice you're making when you go with a Shopify or to the Adobe Commerce, to the Magento, if we speak in the e-commerce world terms. And there is a 5th option. Maybe someone already figured out what it can be, since overall, if you're a marketer and you use, let's say, marketing automation and some other activation channels, you may frequently spot something in their messaging. And for example, Klaviyo or Sales Manager, you can go to their website and you will see they tell, oh, by the way, guys, we are a marketing automation platform. We send emails, we send SMSs, but we're also a CDP. So what it actually means, how they can name themselves as CDPs. But in essence, it's more like a marketing message. Since Klaviyo, they have, for example, Klaviyo, they have the they allow you to push a lot of first-party data to them. They allow you to push basically they gather user behavior metrics, allow you to push anything to them, and then they allow you to activate this data. But they allow you to do it mostly within their own ecosystem, and you are losing on the biggest value of the CDP for unifying these activation channels and for building the single segment and pushing it to many destinations right away. So in essence, if you look at the Klaviyo CDP or Sales Manager CDPs or any other similar solutions, basically they have the CRM features within their email marketing platform. It's not a CDP. Do not trust the marketing in full. Review what it is in essence. What we just reviewed is our 4 options. If you're already on Salesforce or Adobe Commerce from marketing perspective, go with Salesforce Adobe. If you're just stepping into the CDP and you're not using Adobe Campaigns or Adobe Analytics, Viewer segment is a great option. But if you're looking for an open source solution and may require some customizations, Pimcore CDP has a lot to offer. So that's a very practical suggestion, what we are using in our stack on a daily basis. If you decide to implement any of these solutions, what happens basically next? Let's say you have chosen Twilio or Pimcore. Basically, there's 5 steps as in any other projects, and it all starts with setting the goals. It's the obvious thing, but with CDP, it's really important. For example, this year, majority of companies start thinking more and more about CDP, since third-party data are going to be disabled towards in January from like 1% from all customers in Google Chrome, and later on, all third-party cookies will be disabled from Google Chrome, and Google Chrome is some 55% of all the browsing worldwide. So what it means, you won't be able to retarget, let's say, so efficiently anymore as you get used to. So a lot of companies try to gather more actively first-party data nowadays, so they can use this information for better targeting, better segmentation, etc., etc. So it's one of the important goals for CDP implementation. But maybe you have some other goal. You have the data silos, or you have many technological stack, and you really do not letting your team a very useful tool stack where they can easily access all the data. It's especially important for the marketing or analytics teams. When you're clear on the goals, analyzing and planning is super crucial with CDP, since, as I already mentioned, it connects whole organization. So CDP implementation, it can't be done just within the analytics team itself. CDP implementation requires collaboration from your business, from your marketers, from your analytics, from your tech teams, since where your data is, it's not sitting in one place, right? Your data is usually in many scattered in many different places out there. So you need to communicate with the departments. You need to figure out from where you're getting data and how you can really make it in a way that you're benefiting out of it then. So it's really unified and you got as much as possible data. From the delivery perspective, always quite standard. There's a delivery phase when you implement the data layer and making sure you are gathering the data out of all the sources you want to. Then you integrate, making the integration phase. That usually is also happening within the CDP platform. You figure out where you push the data and doing all the configurations within the CDP platform. And for the testing, it's exactly the same flow as with any regular e-commerce project. You would have a testing environment available, you would have the demo environment available, so you can safely launch your CDP when you're ready. As such, what's recommended to push all your data through the CDP. So Google Analytics won't be gathering, let's say, any more data directly on your website, but that the CDP who will be sending all the data to your Google Analytics. That's one of the suggested options to implement that. And final step is for sure launching the project, and you're making it in a very safe environment since you already have the demos, etc. And if something with a few clicks, you can roll back all the things. For us, like I already mentioned, we started the CDP journey in 2018, and it was quite a long journey now with 15 more customers implementing the CDPs. And at this stage, we are official partners for Twilio segment, for Pimcore, for Adobe. So in case any questions about any of the platforms or overall you're trying to figure out how to get more first-party data or how to really capture all the metrics from my organization, or overall you have the question about CDPs, feel free to ask us. Here is a nice QR code which you can scan and get a free consultation about anything CDP related. That's basically it, guys. We are happy to jump on any questions in case any, but otherwise we'll follow up with a presentation and with a bit more details for all those who are interested. Seems that's it. Thank you a lot for your time and have a great, what is it? Is it Wednesday? Have a great Wednesday day, evening, whenever you are. Thank you.